Hey everyone, it's the one and only magnificent bird, Beak, speaking to you today. And in today's video, I'm finally going over the AEW All Out 2025 results. Now, I know I'm a couple of days late on it, but that's all right. It's currently Monday night by the time you guys get this. Like I said, I know the event happened on Saturday, but I just had some other stuff that I was, as far as content that I was pumping out, that I had already been late on those other things. So I knew I was going to be a little late on this, but that's all right. We're going to go ahead and get into it. And before we get started, I hope all of you are doing good and staying safe out there. And like always, if you like the video, leave a like, leave a comment down below. And if you aren't subscribed already, feel free to hit that subscribe button if you want to. And turn on all notifications so you know the second I upload to YouTube. And if you want to share the video, that'd be great too. And if you do any of those things, that would be very much appreciated. So let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get underway and get into these results. Now, these first couple of matches, I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to kind of go through them and talk about them real quickly because we got like 14 matches to go over. So, most of the pre-show matches, I'm just going to kind of go over just quick, done, and move on. Okay, here we go. The first match was a tag team match between the Ops, Samoa Joe, and Powerhouse Hobbs, going up against the Work Horsemen. And I mean, did anybody think the Ops was going to lose to a tag team that they've never heard of? I don't think so. So Samoa Joe tapped out JD Drake with the Kojina Clutch to win the tag team match. Boom, that's the first one. Next up, we have Daniel Garcia going one-on-one against Shibata, and Daniel Garcia, after about 15 minutes, Daniel Garcia wins by pinfall with a surfboard stomp. I mean, it was a little bit better than the last match, but it's still kind of whatever. If you seen it, you seen it. If you didn't miss anything. So, okay. Next up, we have a six-man tag team match between a group I've never fucking heard of before. Frat House, that would be Griff Garrison, Cole Carter, and Preston Vance, going up against Hologram and Paragon, Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong. And the babyface team of Hologram and Paragon win by pinfall, Hologram pinning Griff Garrison. Alright. Now, next up, probably the best match up to this point, if I'm being completely honest. We have the 8 women's Toronto Tailgate Brawl, which would include Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanati, and Willow Nightingale versus Megan Bayne, Penelope Ford, and the Triangle of Madness, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. Brawling to start, the baby faces are in control. 4-way meeting of the minds, Mina Shirakawa on all fours so Bayne can get tripped over here, and the babyface gals all tear their shirts off, but they're not, this was a match where they got to use all weapons and, all manner of weapons and stuff like that, right? So, okay, the heels make a comeback. Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford, just Megan Bayne chucks one of the women over the ropes and into the crush with a military press, trading elbows. Everybody back inside looking for a huge suplex. Baby faces, like, they all of them get into a suplex position, but then all of the heels do, but the all of the baby faces suplex the heels all at once. I mean, that shit's been done. WWE's done it. I'm sure AEW's done it before. And then action, then we get back to the action to the floor. This is where the weapons start to come into play, throwing plastic cups at each other. Penelope Ford spanks Amanati with a spatula and gets the tongs in return, and we go to commercial. Back from commercial, because the show hasn't started yet, brawling is Willow Nightingale with a pounce. Amanati and Mina Shirakawa take the Triangle of Madness to the floor, bounce them off the barricade, and put them in a charcoal grill and punch them through it. Back inside, Willow Nightingale has Penelope Ford. So the team that won this match was Harley Cameron, Mina Shirakawa, Queen Amanati, and Willow Nightingale win by pinfall with the Dr. Bomb from Willow Nightingale on Penelope Ford. Okay, so now the show opens with a hype video running down the highlights of the card. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, makes his entrance to join the commentary team. The first match, well, we'll get to it in a moment. So we see Adam Copeland, aka Edge, and Christian Cage backstage, and Adam takes a moment to admire a poster of a hockey player, and then he shows up, and then the hockey player shows up, and Copeland fanboys out. Okay, and then later down the hall, the dude with the glasses from Trailer Park Boys shows up, and they do a bit with him. I have no idea who the hell that was. That was the first time I had seen that particular person. Like, I don't watch much TV, so, okay, now, the first match of the actual pay-per-view is the tag team match with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus FTR, that would be Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood. So, Dax Harwood and Christian Cage start the match. Tony Schiavone clarifying that the crowd is chanting "No hose" for Stokely Hathaway, because that's a bit of a thing that Stokely Hathaway said something about he was bald and he couldn't get no hose one time on an episode of Dynamite, and ever since then, the crowd's been chanting that. But okay, anyway, all right, so the crowd is chanting "No hose" for Stokely Hathaway and "Not noise" for Dax, which is the kind of hard-hitting journalism we appreciate. Okay, that's what Tony Schiavone said. So now we're going to get back to the match. So collar and elbow between Harwood and Christian Cage, backing Harwood into the corner. He turns it around and breaks clean. A drop-down leapfrog giant step from Harwood, big right hands from Christian, smashing Dax into the turnbuckles over and over and over, bouncing him nose first off the post, and then catapulting him into it. Inverted DDT, nope. Tag to Adam Copeland, double whip, double hip toss, cover for one. Dax backs off, Wheeler tags in, he spits in Adam's face and gives him a little "come on" before putting a side headlock on. Block the shoot off, second try works, drop down leapfrog, Lou Thez press into mounted punches. Adam Copeland tagged to Christian Cage, inverted DDT, sidewalk slam combo, cover for two. Christian Cage with mounted punches in the corner, biting Cash's forehead. Big slicing right hand blind tag from Harwood in there, still focused on Cash, choking him past to the floor, back in, double hanging DDT connects. Corner uppercuts and chops, Christian with a couple of right hands, but Dax takes him down with a drop toe hold and tags Wheeler back in. Quick tags working Christian Cage over. Jawbreaker gets him some separation back. Suplex clears the way, crawling. Harwood cuts him off. Back body drop, but Adam Copeland got taken out and isn't there to tag. Double team backbreaker from FTR. on Christian Cage as Christian Cage crawls under and gets the tag. Copeland in hot, flapjack, duck under, Edge-O-Mac, no deal, Olympian slam fired up. Adam looks at his hand. Oh yeah, this is where Adam Copeland Edge, he does a tribute to John Cena. So, okay, so yeah, Adam, he looks at his hand and he does the "you can't see me" 5-knuckle shuffle attitude adjustment. Yeah, because I think back a couple weeks ago, John Cena paid homage to Edge. So Adam Copeland decided to do the same thing, and he actually used two of John Cena's moves, and he does the whole "you can't see me," which I thought that was pretty cool, right? Okay, so all right, so no deal. Cena chance go up. Dax and Christian end up brawling in the ring. Copeland ducks under off the ropes. He and Wheeler both go for crossbodies, and all four men end up down and out. Christian, CNC, Christian and Copeland with stereo sharpshooters, but halfway shoves the ring skirt at Dax, and he manages to grab it and pull himself to safety. Stokely surrounded by Cage and Adam Copeland. FTR make the save back inside. Power and the Glory still no. Back and forth stereo spears. Stoke. So Edge is about to pin Dax Harwood, I believe it is, or Cash Wheeler, and the referee gets to 2. He's about to get to 3, but Stokely pulls the referee out of the ring as he's getting to 3. And this was cool. This was unexpected. So this music starts playing, and it's Beth Phoenix. Yes, they're calling her Beth Copeland. Yeah, Beth Phoenix comes in there. She comes out there, and she is definitely gonna fuck Stokely halfway up. So she bows to him, and Copeland with another spear. Dax kicks out. Beth Fireman carries halfway and marches him to the back. Wheeler with a foreign object. Adam sends him to the floor. Dax begs off Christian Cage, and Cash Wheeler is wanting Christian Cage to get up, and Cash Wheeler power bombs Christian Cage onto the announce desk, and FTR have Adam Copeland down. They pick him up. Cash off the top. Spike pile driver. They go for the cover, but Edge somehow finds the will to kick out. Match breaking down. Impaler DDT takes Wheeler down. Adam charges in, and FTR catch him with a shatter machine, but he ends up kicking out of that as well. They want to go for a second shatter machine, connects, but no cover. He's getting to his feet, and Cash decks him with a right hand. Uppercut sends Adam Copeland into the corner, and Cage recovers. Adam explodes out of the corner, and Adam Copeland and Christian Cage win by pinfall with a spear from Adam Copeland onto Cash Wheeler. Now we're going to talk about the post-match. Okay, so this is after the match. So Beth Phoenix returns to the ring, and FTR attacks Copeland and handcuffs him to the ropes. That's when Kip Sabian comes down to help them beat Christian up, and he eats a spike pile driver while Nick Wayne, that's right, because Kip Sabian brings Nick Wayne out in a wheelchair, and Nick Wayne is just sitting on the stage in a wheelchair as he's laughing. And then Beth, with Christian down and Adam Copeland handcuffed to the ropes, Beth realizes that FTR have her surrounded, and she goes over to Adam Copeland and gives him a kiss and turns to fight FTR off 2-on-1 to the best of her ability. But obviously they get the better of her, and FTR spike pile drives Beth Phoenix. Oh man, FTR, bro. You motherfuckers. And that's how all that ends. So they're just being more heelish by doing that. So there you go. Next up, we have a one-on-one match between Big Bill going up against a Eddie Kingston match. Now, I'm not really gonna. Some of these matches, some of them I'm gonna go into, some of them I'm just gonna try to go through them kind of quickly, like I already explained. So, this one, okay, so let's kind of get to the end of this match. So, okay. So, Big Bill is pounding down and beating down Eddie Kingston to the mat, positioning posting in the turnbuckles, corner body avalanche, and a lariat takes Kingston off his feet again. And cover, no, Eddie Kingston he kicks out. Eddie is looking for the exploder, and he gets it. And Big Bill pressing the attack, thinking about a choke slam goozle, but Eddie Kingston blocks it and snaps off a DDT. A big boot from Big Bill in the back and forth. Eddie lands the Black Fist, and Eddie Kingston wins by pinfall with the Black Fist to the future. Okay. Okay, so post-match, this is after the match. So Big Bill and Brian Keefe attack Eddie Kingston after the match, and Hook makes the save, helping out Eddie Kingston. So Hook throws Keefe into a back fist, and the heels are sent packing. He hugs Eddie and raises his hand. Oh yeah, Hook, he came back like a couple weeks ago when they were doing a couple of shows in Philadelphia, by the way. So yeah, Hook had already been back by this point. And Hook, I gotta say, he's got some god awful new theme music. I don't know what the hell is that other theme music that Hook had. It wasn't that bad, but the new one that he's got, I don't know what the hell is happening. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, now here's a match that I am gonna go into. We have Mark Briscoe versus MJF in a tables and tacks match. Thumbtacks. Okay, so Mark Briscoe immediately starts dumping out the buckets of tacks into the ring and invites MJF inside. Max gets up on the apron and asks the crowd if they want him in there and immediately takes a walk. Briscoe gives chase and brawls him around the ring, smacking him in the forehead with a metal bucket, setting him on a table, thinking Nestla plunge, but MJF blocks it by hitting him low down there, down south. Fighting on the apron under hooks denied. MJF runs into the ring and stops himself short considering the sea of tacks, and they go hammer and tongs with punches atop the tacks. Max with a throat thrust, right hands. Mark returns the favor with a pair of chops to the throat. MJF scoops him up, Briscoe floats over, same sequence in reverse. Max kicks the back of his knees and tries to grind him to the tacks, but Mark blocks it. Returning the favor, MJF bites his hand to break away and then pulls referee Bryce Remsburg into the way, pokes the eye, scooping a slam into the tacks. Max grinds his face into the tacks. MJF goes to the floor and folds the table up and puts it away as blood starts pouring down Mark Briscoe's face. Back inside, MJF hoists him up, Alabama slam into the tacks, but Briscoe is defiant and kicks out of the 1 foot pin. Stepping over him, Max grabs a handful of tacks and fills Mark Briscoe's mouth with them. Oh my god, what the fuck? MJF, bro. You are a crazy son of a bitch. You go grab a handful of thumbtacks and put it in somebody's mouth. Jesus. Oh man. Okay. So the thumbtacks are in Mark Briscoe's mouth, and he decks him with a huge elbow. Back body drop into the tacks embedded all over Briscoe's body, but he refuses to stay down. Off the ropes, another back body drop, and this time Briscoe back body drops MJF into the sea of steel spikes into the thumbtack. So, ooh, MJF, you motherfucker, you getting a little taste of your medicine, okay? Yeah, you getting a little taste of that medicine, hell yeah, for sure. Max's face becomes a mask of pain and shock. Back suplex, MJF lands on his knees, and how much good does that do? Mark with an Iriguza, I know I'm not saying that right, but anyway, Mark with a power bomb. There we go. Mark with a power bomb into the tax and a lateral press for 2. Action to the floor. Briscoe sets up a chair. Sabu Tope through a table leaned against the barricade, dragging Mark Briscoe dragging Max around ringside with a side headlock, punching away, throwing him into the barricade again, and Mark pulls out the table that had been put away earlier. He puts MJF on it, nestily plunge through the table and to the floor. Back inside, MJF throws a handful of tacks at Mark's eyes, but Briscoe still manages to catch him with a powerbomb into the tacks. Good lord, he's going for the damn tacks again. Oh my god. So MJF hits him with a low blow, chair in hand, and he cracks it across Mark's back, using it as a hammer to drive the remaining tacks deeper. Tombstone pile driver onto the chair, but Mark Briscoe will not stay down because Mark Briscoe, Jesus Christ, he kicks out of that shit. Like, you would think that would be it. Holy crap. Now we got a table set up in the ring. MJF steps on Mark in the corner, goes under the ring and pulls a pair of black sacks out and dumps out even more tacks. Okay, so like it was a couple of pairs of black bags. Okay, I got you. Yeah. And he dumps them out, even more tacks on the table. Mounted punches in the turnbuckles, powerbomb lift. Briscoe fights back with punches. Max crumbles, but manages to crotch Mark in the turnbuckles. Jockeying for position, Mark with the underhooks. Max breaks free and bites his bloody forehead. Briscoe returns the favor with what teeth he has. Froggy bow through the table back up top. Another one, he hits another one. Mark's not done with him yet. Underhooks, and boom. Mark Briscoe hits the J Driller into the tacks, and it's over. So Mark Briscoe wins it by pinfall with a J Driller. Okay, so I thought MJF was going to win that match, but nope. To my surprise, Mark Briscoe, he wins it, and I would imagine that they're going to continue this feud going into Wrestle Dream, maybe. I mean, maybe not. I don't know, but we'll see. Okay, let me get a sip of this drink. I'm glad I got me some water for this because I knew I was going to need it. All right. Next up, we have a 6-man tag team match with the Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan and Toa Leone, and Ricochet versus the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley, MVP, and Shelton Benjamin. So MVP and Ricochet start the match, and, annoying bird, Ricochet, he's laughing as he runs away and tags in Bishop Khan, saying he'll fight him on his own time. Arm drag MVP with a hammer lock to a side headlock, shoved off. Bishop kicks off the ropes rather. MVP drop toe hold, a front slam to a knee drop, cover for 1, into the corner to tag Benjamin off the ropes. He goes clubbering with Bishop Khan. Up and over, victory roll into an ankle lock, tag to Lashley, double whip, double elbow. Ricochet comes in and flexes in front of Bob. Bobby bows, do nothing, shoved off. Huge back body drop connects. Delayed vertical suplex. MVP tags in before he completes it. Throat thrust, single knee, face breaker, down and out, ball in for 2. Only for 2. Whip across, big boot in the corner, exploder suplex. MVP fired up, but Ricochet tags in Bishop Khan. Bishop kicks his leg out of his leg. Leg snap, clapping for himself to tag Leone, working MVP over. Quick tags, the heat segment is rolling. At last, Lashley tags in, tossing dudes around with an alarm. With Ricochet eats the Dominator. Toa Leone breaks it up, and an Izagura sends Lashley into to tag in Shelton Benjamin. Ricochet floats out of one, but eats a tossing T-bone suplex and a German suplex, one for Bishop, two, and then he suplexes both of them at the same time. Bobby Lashley's in, he spears Ricochet, he spears him, but then Ricochet breaks it up with a 450 splash, Khan working MVP over, lung blower, and a freight train assist from Toa to the action to the floor, and the match breaks down. Leoa sets up a chair on the floor and picks up Lashley. Shelton Benjamin steps off the chair with a rising knee. Bishop lands a drop kick after Leone with the headbutt. Ricochet over the post tope Congarito. I don't know if I'm saying all that right, but anyway. Bishop and Ricochet double whip Tione into Shelton and Bob and wipe both of them out. Ricochet springboards in, but MVP catches him with a belly-to-belly suplex. One for Khan as well. Big boot thinking about the overdrive, but Bishop chop blocks him, and Ricochet lines him up, and the Gates of Agony win by pinfall with a spirit gun from Ricochet onto MVP. So Ricochet pins MVP. I was definitely surprised by that. I thought for sure the Hurt Syndicate was going to win that match, but man, I'm not sure how I feel about that one. It was like, yeah, it was all right. It was fine. It was a fine match for what it was, but I still think the Mark Briscoe and MJF match up to this point is the second best match, because the tag team match I feel like was the best match of the night so far up to this point. Okay, next up, we're going to get to this one really quickly, then we're going to move on. Next up, we have Mercedes Moné, the belt collector, defending her TBS championship against Riho, and to nobody's fucking surprise, Mercedes Moné wins and retains. Moving on. Like, bam, just like that. All right, next up, we have a triple threat match for the AEW Unified Championship. We have the Unified Champion Okada defending against Takeshita and Mascara Dorina. And I'm going to quickly just go over this one. So, yeah, there was a possibility that maybe Takeshita could have won this, but I had picked Okada to retain, and Okada, he wins and retains by pinning. He pins the MD guy by hitting a Rainmaker on him, and yeah, they are going to set up a one-on-one match with Okada and Takeshita, and then that's when I could see Takeshita winning in a one-on-one situation. So, yeah. All right, next up, we have the coffin match between Darby Allin and Jon Moxley. So, chaos out of the gates. Darby Allin attacks Jon Moxley during his entrance and jumps off a damn balcony with a coffin drop. My God. I don't know how old Darby Allin is, but that coffin drop move where he, I don't know how he's not going to be in a wheelchair by the time he's 40. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so he hits Jon Moxley with a coffin drop. Jon Moxley kicks him over some chairs, trying to get himself back together. Darby drop kicks him on the concrete stairs. Bulldog headlock dragging Moxley down to a barricade. Jon back suplexes him and crouches him on the steel. Punches, talking trash at the camera. Darby Allin fires up. Back rakes exchanged between the both of them. Finally, Darby Allin spills over to the ringside and bites Jon Moxley's ear. Jon Moxley fishes in his pocket for something, but Darby Allin stays biting his ear with abandoned. I think he spit out a piece of ear. I don't know, man, but these fucking John Moxley matches with no DQ and shit can get absolutely yeah. Damn, John Moxley, he'll be bleeding all over the damn place by the time the match is over. So, okay, John Moxley shoves Darby Allin into the steel steps and knocks the coffin off its thing. So now the coffin is like on the floor instead of on its whatever you call that thing. Darby Allin lands a suicide dive and both guys end up in the coffin, but the lid doesn't shut all the way. Okay, so Darby Allin is clawing at John Moxley's face. John returns the favor. Inside the ring, finally, out the other side, another suicide dive countered into a ace crusher. Mina Shafir has a turnbuckle wrench and she's unhooking the bottom rope, crash landing onto the coffin lid. Claudio hops the barricade to help his pal out. John Moxley throws Darby inside. Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia are here too. They all help him slide the coffin into the ring. Blood, this is the point where not Darby Allin, but rather John Moxley, he's already busted open because Darby Allin's got a fucking screwdriver and he is just like going to town on John Moxley's ear with that damn screwdriver. And then he gets to the point where he is beating nearly the top of John Moxley's head with that damn screwdriver, and that's what causes him to bleed, right? So, blood caking the whole left side of his face, neck, and chest. John Moxley slams the coffin lid on Darby's fingers, jawing at Darby Allin. He says he loves him and kisses his forehead. John Moxley distasteful kicks to the head. Darby Allin comes back with chops, a sleeper hold from Moxley. Darby Allin gets a fork from somewhere. No, that's right, it was a fork, not a screwdriver. That's right, it was a fork. He gets a fork from somewhere and grinds it into John Moxley's ear before stabbing him in the head over and over with it. Coffin drop to the floor. He hits John Moxley with a coffin drop to the floor. Back inside, coffin drop onto the he hits a coffin drop onto the coffin lid. That's what I'm saying. Good God, how the fuck doesn't Darby Allin? How does he not have spinal problems, like hitting his back on? That ain't the first time he's did a coffin drop on a coffin. It's one of those regular coffins too. It ain't like no wood one. He did it with a wood one. This was the early days of AEW, but this is one of the regular coffins he's doing his shit on too. So, okay, so he does the coffin drop on the lid of the coffin. Darby opens the lid and slams it on John Moxley's fingers and then stomps the fingers. Scorpion Death Drop connects. Darby Allin goes to the floor and grabs a pipe, but John cuts him off with the fork. Darby blocks and jams a thumb into his eye before stabbing him again in the ear, and Darby Allin once again is biting his damn ear. So John Moxley recovers with knee lifts, climbing atop the coffin. Paragram shift puts a dent into the coffin lid. Moxley opens the coffin and picks Allin up and tosses him in, but he doesn't close it yet. Turning around, he slams the lid, but Darby uses the pipe to keep it open. He springs out of the coffin and chokes John with the pipe. Moxley slides to the floor. Darby Allin stays on him and spikes him with the pipe. Bryan Danielson, at this point, Darby Allin is near the commentary table, and Bryan Danielson passes Darby Allin a duffel bag, and Darby Allin pulls out a plastic bag. Yes, a plastic bag, folks. So back when John Moxley turned heel and tried to literally kill Daniel Bryanson, when he tried to kill Bryan Danielson, he wrapped a plastic bag over Bryan Danielson's head. So not John Moxley, but Darby Allin rather is trying to repay that favor and try to use the plastic bag on John Moxley. And so he pulls out the plastic bag and heads back inside the ring. He chokes Jon Moxley with the plastic bag, and he puts the bag back on John. Wrist clutch, he's doing, and then he's doing Danielson's head stomps on Jon Moxley. The bag is torn open. Jon Moxley makes himself a breathing hole. Darby throws him into the coffin, and he's about to close the lid, or he's going to attempt to close the lid. But when Pac, who was hurt, Pac made his return, and he blasts Darby Allin with a big boot. He puts Darby Allin up. He pulls Darby Allin up into a razor's edge over the ropes and into the other coffin on the floor. Pac throws Darby Allin back inside and grabs a body bag. He unzips it, drags Darby Allin over, zips him in it. He hoists Darby Allin up and throws him in the coffin, and Jon Moxley kicks it shut, and Jon Moxley wins the coffin match. There you go. I thought, before this match was ever announced, I thought that, okay, they're going to maybe break up the Death Riders slowly but surely, and that Jon Moxley was going to go away. And I was thinking, well, maybe Darby Allin will get the win, but no, it doesn't seem like the Death Riders is unfortunately breaking up anytime soon. So, it is what it is. So Darby Allin, or rather, Jon Moxley got the win. Okay, so backstage, Mark Briscoe is celebrating his win over MJF, and he says it felt good beating MJF, and he's got to look forward to another man who's been a thorn in his ass, Don Callis, and we're pretty much getting the confirmation that Orange Cassidy is coming back. I don't know where the hell Orange Cassidy's been, but maybe he got hurt. I think he got hurt, but I guess he'll be coming back on Wednesday. So we'll see what he's up to. Next up, we're just gonna kind of quickly go through this match. This next match was one of the matches I was looking forward to. We have the Fatal 4-Way match for the AEW Women's World Championship. So let's kind of just quickly get into this. Alright, so we're getting toward the end of the match here. Toni Storm is fired up, and she delivers a corner hip attack. She hits a Storm Zero on Tekla, but Jamie Hayter breaks it up. Storm and Hayter trading elbows in the middle of the ring. Haterade blocked. Hatebreaker also blocked. Second try, Hatebreaker connects. Haterade lands true, but Tekla breaks it up. Tekla with a cover. Toni kicks out, but she gets caught in a Kojina clutch. Toni Storm crawls for the ropes and gets a foot up. Jamie pulls Tekla out to the apron, clubbing away at the Australian front kick. Tekla spears her clean off the apron. Statlander rolls Toni through, and Chris Statlander wins the AEW Women's World Championship by pinfall with a seatbelt pin on Toni Storm. So, I was surprised. I called that it was either going to be Toni Storm that was going to retain, or I thought that Chris Statlander was going to win the match. And, well, I decided to go risky, and I decided to pick Chris Statlander, and, well, that worked out. So, but I was surprised that they had Chris Statlander pin Toni Storm. I thought maybe she was going to pin, like, I don't know, Jamie Hayter, or Tekla, or something like that, right? But, so we're going to the post-match here. Toni Storm, as Chris Statlander is celebrating her win, and you hear the crowd chanting, "You deserve it, you deserve it." Toni Storm is going back up to the ramp slowly. She is stunned by her loss. Harley Cameron comes running down to celebrate with her pal Chris Statlander. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Chris Statlander and Harley Cameron for now are kind of like a little duo, so we'll see how long that lasts. Alright, next up, we have the AEW World Tag Team Championship ladder match. We have Brodito Bandino and Brody King defending their titles against the Don Callis family of Hechicero and Josh Alexander versus Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, and Speedball Mike Bailey versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. So, chaos starts quickly settling on the Don Callis family, working over Bandino over Jet Speed. Jet Speed comes in to take the momentum, double whip to a double boot. Stereo Palanchas wipe the two heel teams out. Brodito and Jet Speed introduce ladders, and Kevin and Mike throw theirs away to drop kick the champions. The Young Bucks come in and double whip on Bandino, double elbow. Okay, so now we get a double arm drag from Bandino. Matt Jackson eats the X knee, thinking 21 plex, but Nick saves his brother, and Alexander comes in waiting a suplex. Brody King behind him, and Brody German suplexes the whole stack. Josh, Matt, and his own partner too. Brody blasts the Callis boys with a ladder. Matthew drop kicks. Nicholas lays out King with a tornillo. I don't know if I'm saying it right. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of go through this quickly. Okay, so let me see here. Let's kind of just skip through this here a little bit. Okay, so the point is, I was wrong on this pick. I thought the Young Bucks were going to win, but no. Brodito wins and retains. So yeah, so here we go. We got Brody King gives, this is how the match ends. So we have Brody King giving Bandino a ladder, and off the top, ladder-assisted moonsault takes the Young Bucks out. Bandino back inside, climbing. Brody King keeps watch one, and Brodito, not Brodito, but Bandito, he goes up and climbs the ladder and grabs both of the titles, and Brodito retains the titles. I was genuinely surprised by that. See, I'm 0 for 2 picking against Brodito. Damn, maybe I should stop picking against them, because both times I said that they were going to lose, they win both times. Damn, that's crazy. And now, so the post-match, this is going to be pretty important here. So, after the match, the Young Bucks linger in the ring, and Jack Perry appears behind them. For weeks leading up to this match, Jack Perry, who was associated with the Young Bucks last year, he was calling the Young Bucks, but the Young Bucks were ignoring his phone calls. So Jack Perry appears behind them, and they ask him, what's he doing here? You know, they're looking all confused, and he decides to flip them the bird and attacks them, but they fight him off, and with the help of Rocky Romero, wrist clutched, and they're about to do the Young Bucks trigger on Jack Perry, and Jack Perry smiling, and they're like, what the hell are you smiling about, right? And then that's when the lights go off, and we get a little vignette of Jack Perry digging something up somewhere, dragging it out of the ground with a chain, and driving it back, doing a Dr. Frankenstein stuff, as he's the one who resurrected Luchasaurus. And Luchasaurus is here. As the lights come back on, he appears behind the Young Bucks. Luchasaurus is here, and he takes the Young Bucks out. And Jack Perry sees that Luchasaurus has this belt that says kill switch on, around his pants there, and he tells Luchasaurus to take that shit off, and Luchasaurus does, and he just throws that shit into the crowd. So now it seems like Luchasaurus is back to being officially Luchasaurus, and both Luchasaurus and Jack Perry hug it out. So it seems like we are going to get the Jungle Express back, but we're going to get a darker version of it. Now, the question is, are they going to be baby faces or are they going to be tweeners? Are they going to kind of be in between? Or maybe they want to try to make them heel, but people are just going to love the two of them back together so much they're gonna, they're gonna be forced to kind of make them face, but not all the way. It'll just be a darker side of Jurassic Express, and you know what? I'm fucking looking forward to that because when I started first watching AEW, they were a tag team, but they were clearly baby faces. There was no darkness to it, but now, and I got to see not when they first teamed up, but I got to see their breakup and all that shit. And now, since they are forming back together and they're going to be a darker side, a darker Jurassic Express. Ooh, the possibilities with that, sign me up. So that was hell. That was cool as hell. Now we cut backstage after that, where Mina Shafir directs the cameraman to film right now. We pan over to Jon Moxley standing over the coffin and saying that Darby is just misguided and he still loves him and wants to make sure he gets the message this time. The Death Riders drive off and Darby pops out of the coffin, steel pipe in hand. He wallops Moxley with the pipe and zips him up in the body bag. Pac puts him in early. That Pac put him in earlier. Darby Allin sprays some kind of shit on the body bag, and Darby Allin sets Jon Moxley on fucking fire, dude. But of course, they're right there with the fire extinguishers to put his ass out, right? So yeah, I thought they were going to do that to Darby Allin rather. I thought Jon Moxley was going to set Darby Allin on fire, but they went the other way around on it. So yeah, Jon Moxley and Darby Allin's feud is long from over. Yeah, I could see them having another match, probably at Wrestle Dream, maybe Full Gear. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll see. We will see. So now we're finally going to get to the main event. I know this is going to be a longer one, but here we go. We got the main event for the AEW World Championship between the champion Hangman Adam Page defending against the TNT champion Kyle Fletcher. And if Don Callis or any member of the Don Callis family interferes with the match, Kyle Fletcher will be disqualified and will be stripped of his TNT championship. So yeah, Kyle Fletcher's got to try to do this by himself. So let's see. Let's kind of get into this. So there was all kinds of shit here. So this match went about. By the way, this match went about 40 minutes. Yes, we're gonna kind of get to the end of it because I want to go ahead and wrap it up because this is going to be already pretty long. So I want to go ahead and try to wrap it up. Okay, so both of them are fighting on the apron. Kyle Fletcher goes for a mule kick, but Hangman reverses, and Hangman hits a deadeye off the apron and through a table. See, I like how AEW, even though it's not a no disqualification match, I like how they don't count going for a table as a disqualification. Even though it probably should be. I like how, as long as you're not using a chair, you're good. Even if you go through the fucking table, you're good, my guys. Oh, man. Alright, so Hangman Adam Page hits a deadeye off the apron and through a table. And then Adam Page throws Kyle Fletcher back inside, lining him up. The Protostar collapses under the buckshot. Referee Paul Turner issues the standing 10 count. Adam gets to his feet under his own power, but Kyle barely drags himself up onto the ropes. Hangman lines up the finger gun bang off the ropes. V-trigger electric chair for one winged angel, but Fletcher slips out. Adam floats over a suplex deadeye in the middle of the ring. Kyle kicks out slowly back into it. Fletcher with a hidden blade for a near fall. Underhooks. Page slips out, big pressure, but Kyle Fletcher kicks out. Small package, small package. Page kicks out, floats over a brainbuster attempt, and tries to roll Kyle Fletcher up, but it only gets a 2. And he tries for a buckshot, but that gets blocked. A brainbuster. Kyle Fletcher hits a brainbuster, but Hangman kicks out of that. Distasteful kicks from Kyle, stomps on the backswing. Adam with desperate elbows rising to his feet. Fletcher asking for more, shrugging off a lariat, pump kick, super kick, handful of hair, and a vicious lariat. Kyle tears both pads off the turnbuckle. Turner, gets on him about doing that, and then Fletcher jaws at him. Then Hangman gets Hangman. Kyle Fletcher gets Hangman in the corner, running at him, hooking him in the turnbuckles. A suplex lift, jockeying for position. Page spikes his head into the exposed turnbuckle, Kyle Fletcher's head, that is. Hangman maneuvering himself into position. An avalanche Deadeye connects, but he's slow to capitalize. And he hits a slingshot in. He gets a slingshot in, and he lands a buckshot, and he pins Kyle Fletcher. 1, 2, 3. Adam Page retains. That match was like nearly 40 minutes. I wasn't like gonna go over all of that, but it was a fucking good match. Honestly, I think if I had to go with 4 matches that I would definitely watch again, I'll go with 5 matches. I would go in this order. I would say the main event for the World Championship, number 1. Number 2, I would go with the tag team match between Edge and Christian Cage and FTR, number 2. Number 3, I'm going to put the Fatal 4-Way, the women's Fatal 4-Way match at number 3. Number 4, well, you know what? No. Number 3, I'm actually going to go with Mark Briscoe and MJF in the Tables and Tacks match. Number 4, I'm going to go with the Fatal 4-Way, the women's Fatal 4-Way match. And number 5, I'll go with the Coffin match. If I was to watch this event again, those are the 5 matches I would definitely watch again. All of the rest of them, I could kind of just, I could kind of live without watching them again. Not to say that they were all bad. The worst match, in my opinion, was, do I have to say it? The Mercedes Moné match, just because of how fucking predictable the outcome is. So that automatically makes it the worst match of the night. That's why I didn't even talk about it. Because the Daniel Garcia match was more interesting than Mercedes Moné winning again and again and again. So yeah, those are the 5 matches I would watch again. The main event for the world title, then the tag team match with Edge and Christian Cage going up against FTR. Number 3, the Tax and Tables match with Mark Briscoe and MJF. Number 4, the women's Fatal 4-Way match for the Women's World Championship. And number 5, the Coffin match. So yeah, that is, I don't think I forgot anything. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go because I already know this is going to be a long one. But with some of the editing, I can get it down to be a little bit shorter, but probably not much shorter. But anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I want to thank each and every one of you for your continued support and for stopping by. And if you're new, welcome on in for the very first time. I'm glad to have your support and thank you for your time. I am Buck Beak, and I'm going to go fly away back to my nest. Until next time, bye guys.